vssadmin delete shadows/all/quiet. One command, the fingerprint of virtually every ransomware attack ever recorded. Delete the volume shadow copies. Destroy the user's last hope of free recovery. Then begin encryption. Event ID 4688 with command line logging captures this. It is the smoking gun. Welcome to ransomware investigation, where the playbook is well known, the artifacts are predictable, and the financial impact of missing a single step can run into millions. Malware taxonomy, 12 categories. Virus, attaches to legitimate executable files, requires user to run host. Worm, self-replicating, spreads autonomously across networks. No host file needed. Trojan, disguises as legitimate. Hidden payload, no self-replication. Rootkit, hides presence of malware from OS and security tools. Operates below detection level. Spyware, collects and transmits user data. Data exfiltration focus. Adware, displays unwanted ads. Ad revenue model. Keylogger, records keystrokes. Credential theft. Botnet bot. Compromised system under C2 control. Part of a larger network. Coordinated attack capability. RAT, remote access Trojan. Full remote control, persistent access. Ransomware, encrypts data, demands payment. Data destruction threat. Cryptometer, uses victim's CPU or GPU to mine cryptocurrency. Resource abuse, fileless, entirely in memory. PowerShell, WMI, living off the land. Evades file-based detection. Memorize the propagation method and the key characteristic for each. The exam will quiz them directly. Rootkits, malware specifically designed to hide from the OS and security tools. 6 types by privilege level. User mode, hooks, Win32, API functions, moderate detection difficulty. Kernel mode, patches kernel structures, SSDT, DKOM. High detection difficulty, subverts the OS entirely. Bootkit, infects MBR, VBR, or UEFI bootloader, persists across OS reinstall. Hypervisor rootkit, runs the OS as a guest VM, intercepts hardware calls. Extreme detection difficulty, firmware rootkit, embedded in HDD, NIC, BIOS firmware, nearly impossible without hardware tools. Library rootkit, replaces shared libraries. Detection techniques, cross-view comparison, compare OS view versus raw disk view, discrepancies equal rootkit. Memory forensics, psscan versus pslist differences. Malfind for injected code, DKOM, direct kernel object manipulation. Unlinks, eProcess, struck from the linked list. ESList misses it, psscan finds it. This is the canonical detection technique. Bootkit detection, boot from clean media. Image the drive, examine MBR and VBR sectors against known good templates. Ransomware operation flow, the standard 9-step playbook. Step 1, initial access. Phishing, RDP brute force, vulnerability exploitation. Step 2, establish persistence. Scheduled task, service, run key. Step 3, lateral movement, psxec, WMIC, RDP. Step 4, privilege escalation, exploits, token impersonation, mimikatz. Step 5, pre-encryption prep, shadow copy deletion, vssadmin delete shadows/all/quiet. Disable backup services, stop antivirus, enumerate and exfiltrate data, double extortion, pay or we leak. Step 6, encryption, per file AES key. The AES key itself encrypted with attacker's RSA public key. Only the attacker's RSA private key can recover the AES keys. Step 7, ransom note dropped, readme.txt decrypt instructions. Step 8, wallpaper changed. Step 9, attacker retains the RSA private key. The countdown begins. Shadow copy deletion, the smoking gun command, vssadmin delete shadows/all/quiet. BUMIC shadow copy delete. bcdedit/set default recovery, enabled number bcdedit/set default boot status policy, ignore all failures. PowerShell equivalent. Get WMI object, win32, underscore shadow copy pipe, remove WMI object, forensic detection, Event ID 4688 with command line logging. The full vssadmin command appears. Event ID 7045, service installed before the attack. Volume shadow. Copy service logs, check if VSS shadows still exist. vssadmin list shadows. If gone, you have your timestamp. Other event IDs in ransomware investigations. 4624 logon events, initial access, lateral movement, 7045, service installed, 1102 audit log cleared, 4698 scheduled task created, persistence, and identifying the ransomware family. Check the extension on encrypted files, .locked, .encrypted, .ryuk, .reveal, .lockbit. Submit to ID ransomware website, or no more ransom for decryption tools if the family has been broken. C2 communication patterns, beaconing characteristics, interval, seconds to hours, usually configurable with jitter plus or minus 10 to 25% of the interval, randomizes timing, protocol, HTTPS most common, HTTP DNS, ICMP also used, payload, small for heartbeat, large for command delivery, user agent may be legitimate or custom, DGA, domain generation algorithm. Malware generates hundreds or thousands of domain names algorithmically. The attacker registers one as the actual C2. Blacklisting C2 domains becomes nearly impossible. Detection indicators. High rate of next domain responses from one host. High randomness in domain names. Consonant clusters, unusual character distribution, recently registered domains. Check WOIS, domains without meaningful words. Domain fronting, using a CDN like Cloudflare or AWS CloudFront to hide the true C2 destination. DNS-based C2, data encoded in DNS query names. Responses carry commands in TXT, CNAME, or A records. Tools, DNS Cat2. Persistence mechanisms, 6 categories to know, registry run keys, HKLM, and HKCU software, Microsoft Windows current version. Run once, runs once, then deletes itself. WinLogon, user init and shell values, appinit _ DLLs injected into all GUI processes. Image file execution options, debugger key hijacks legitimate process launches, service-based SC create service name bin path equals path /2/ malware start equals auto. Registry artifact at system current control set. Services service name. Event ID 7045 for new service install. Scheduled task persistence. Tasks /create /tn task name /tr path /malware. XML definitions at C:\windows /system32 /tasks. Event ID 4698 with the full XML of the task. WMI subscription persistence advanced fileless. Event filter, event consumer, filter to consumer binding. Minimal on-disk artifacts, survives disk wipe of non-OS areas. Startup folder. Per user and all users' locations. Drop a shortcut. Memorize all 6. The exam tests recognition of each. Fileless malware. Living off the land. Exists entirely in memory. Uses built-in OS tools. No traditional on-disk executable. Extremely difficult for traditional antivirus to detect. Common fileless techniques. PowerShell. Malicious scripts downloaded and executed in memory. IEX new object net.webclient.download string of a remote URL. WMI. Malicious code in the WMI repository executed via WMI. Registry stored payloads. Base 64. Encoded PowerShell in a registry value. Executed by a run key. Macro enabled documents. Office macros loading shellcode directly into memory. Process injection. Shellcode injected into legitimate processes. Explorer.exe. svchost.exe. LOLBins, living off the land binaries, legitimate Windows tools abused, PowerShell.exe, download and execute, bypass execution policy, wscript.exe and cscript.exe, execute VBS and JS scripts, mshta.exe, execute HTML applications, regsvr32.exe, load COM objects from remote URLs, squibbly-do technique, sirtoodle.exe, download files, decodebase 64, rundle32.exe, execute DLL functions, msixec.exe, install malicious MSI packages, bitssadmin.exe, download files via BITS, detection requires memory forensics, PowerShell script block logging event 4104, AMSI, sysmin, EDR, ransomware in one breath, vssadmin delete shadows is the smoking gun, Event ID 4688 with command line logging captures it, per file AES encrypted with attacker's RSA public key, only their private key recovers. Persistence, run keys, services 7045, scheduled tasks 4698, WMI subscriptions, Fileless and LOLBins, PowerShell 4104 for script block logging, DKOM hides rootkits, psscan finds them, memorize the ransomware operation flow, memorize the event IDs, memorize the persistence locations. Domain 9 is complete. Next up, Domain 10, investigating web attacks. Objective 10.1, web server log analysis, combined log format, HTTP status codes, brute force patterns, scanner signatures, SQL injection in raw logs, the forensic layer for every web-facing incident.